Hello and welcome everyone. It is time to enter the Kumite. Remember, this is not a sport. You don't play fight. Okay guys, we have Eryk Anders coming up against Jun Yong. Maybe I'm wrong, so correct me if I am, but I feel like Anders has a pretty sizable size advantage, and I might go as far to say a pretty serious strength advantage as well. Both guys are wrestlers, but I do feel like Jun Yong has a boxing advantage. He chains together combos fairly well, moves his head off the center line to line up counter shots. He's also really good about fitting in those uppercuts and snapping dudes' heads up and quickly wrapping up tie clinch. He needs to be careful in that tie clinch though, because I do predict Anders to use that to shoot in for the takedown and put Jun Yong's back against the cage. Jun Yong really doesn't want to be skirting along the cage in this matchup. He needs to meet Anders head on, but I don't think he will. I see him using his footwork and head movement to work his way into the fight, and if he finds himself waiting for Anders to make a move, then his back might be against the cage, and his options are therefore limited. If Anders can keep Jun Yong's back against the cage, then I really think he's going to find a finish. We may see two wrestlers strike for 3 rounds and kind of cancel each other out in the grappling. I do think Anders is going to have the strength and size advantage, though, and we may see him get on top and land a bit of ground and pound. He looked really good in his rematch with Darren Stewart. He's very strong, and he's learning how to deliver all of his weight into those ground and pound shots that he's fitting into the grappling exchanges. In his fight with Muniz, though, we saw him get taken down and submitted by Muniz. If Jun Yong can find his way underneath a punch and wrap up a body lock, then he might find himself getting the takedown on Anders. I do think Jun Yong is a bit more versatile with his wrestling. He cuts the angle with his takedowns really well, and he slips to the back really quickly. I don't think Anders is as good at defensive wrestling than he is with hulking his way through. Muniz is just a freaking wizard on the ground and can flow into multiple submissions. I don't know if Jun Yong has it in him to keep Anders down, though, if he gets the takedown. Ultimately, though, I'm going with Eryk Anders via decision. I honestly think he's just too big and too strong. Jun Yong has the more versatile wrestling on his side and might be better at working himself out of bad positions, but I do see him getting his back put to the cage while Anders is working for a takedown that he may or may not get. Anders stands higher in his stance while Jun Yong gives up some length but sits more into his stance. So if anyone is going to get a surprising takedown, I do see it being Jun Yong. I just don't think he'll keep it there for long. Jun Yong also has some crisp boxing, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I think Anders' strength will prove to be too much, and I see him kind of bulldozing through Jun Yong and making him defend himself rather than being able to surmount an offense. With that, I'll go ahead and wrap things up. If you like the content we're providing, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you disagree with our picks, make sure to berate us down in the comments below. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and you can even follow me personally on Twitter. Remember, this is not a sport. You don't play fight.